this particular stream. So 4th of July 2020 was when I did my first ever daytime cold approach, and I wrote a community post the other day to celebrate 5 years in the game. So what I want to do on this stream is I want to read that community post out to you, because I think it's an absolute banger. And then I want to use this stream really to just go deep on what cold approach has done for me, the benefits that I've unlocked, the person that I've become. And hopefully just by watching this stream all the way through, you get a better idea of what cold approach is, what cold approach isn't, and whether you're just starting out with cold approach right now, or maybe you've been in the game for a long time, maybe you've hit a plateau, maybe deeper than that, you have hit a wall when it comes to your overall life. Maybe you know you're capable of more. Maybe you feel as though the world is passing you by. Maybe you feel as though you don't have the right people around you. Maybe you were never given the real handbook on relationships. Maybe you've had relationships in the past, but you've always felt you were settling for the women that you thought you could get rather than going after the ones that you actually wanted. Maybe you grapple with a perceived lack of self-worth. Maybe you don't think you're tall enough, rich enough, ripped enough, jacked enough. Maybe you think you're the wrong race. Maybe you think you're the wrong height. Whatever it is, I've worked with 200 guys, over 200 guys now. I used to be a porn addict. I used to have erectile dysfunction. I used to struggle when it came to things related to women. Social skills never came naturally to me. And yeah, I just want to help you in this stream. You don't need to buy anything from me. I ain't going to try and sell you anything. I just want to help you, give you optimism, because I know what it's like to feel as though you're at rock bottom. So hopefully this can become your rock bottom renaissance. So anyway, let me read you this post and we'll get into the meat and bones of this stream. 5 years ago today, it happened. I did my very first ever daytime cold approach. Leeds City Centre, middle of the day, sweaty palms, heart racing, voice trembling like a dodgy Wi-Fi signal. After 10 years of being a fucking magician, I thought, this'll be easy. I've done tricks for strangers on stage. I've made people believe in miracles. Yeah, turns out confidence in front of 300 drunk stag party lads doesn't mean shit when you're standing in front of one hot woman in Zara trying to forget your own name. Try not to forget your own name. I used to be a magician, by the way. What followed? Rejections, not the clean kind. Brutal, baffling, occasionally so polite it felt sarcastic. At a certain point, I wasn't getting braver, just emotionally numb. You get rejected enough and your nervous system just throws its hands up like, guess we live here now. Then came the dates. Many a botched picnic in the park. Me, snacks packed, blanket laid out, Spotify playlist curated like a desperate love anthem. Her, 25 minutes late, didn't bring water, scrolling through DMs while I passed her the hummus. I watched the pigeon eat a crisp off the floor with more enthusiasm than she had for the conversation. And then came the pulls. Taking women back to mine, thinking I'd made it, only to discover performance anxiety doesn't care how many YouTube videos you've watched. It's real, it's brutal, and it'll humble you faster than stepping on a plug barefoot in the dark. Cue the darkness. Ceiling stairs at 3 a.m. No phone, no distractions. Just an inner monologue from hell. Am I just fundamentally unlovable? Why does this feel like war? Is this what dating is now? Spiritual dodgeball with trauma grenades. And still, I wouldn't change a fucking second of it. Because cold approach gave me everything. True confidence. Not the fake, you got this bro type of confidence, but the kind that's built from failure. Real failure. Rejection in public, ego shattering, who even am I type of failure. The kind of confidence forged in fire. Romantic abundance. I stopped chasing, I started choosing. Eventually, I met someone I deeply admire, respect, and actually want to build a life with. Not out of desperation, but from alignment. Emotional healing. I met the scared little boy inside of me who just wanted to be wanted. I sat with him, I listened, and I gave him everything he never got. A mission. I've helped over 200 busy professionals I'll put my teeth back in. I've helped over 200 busy professionals rewrite their dating story and reclaim their masculine edge. Not through hype, through hard-earned, blood-soaked insight. But more than that, cold approach taught me how to fail forward, how to show up when every fibre of you says don't, how to get rejected at 2 p.m. on a busy high street and laugh about it before the girl's even out of earshot, how to be the kind of man women feel, even if they never see you again. But even deeper than that, cold approach gave me the belief that I could quit my 9-to-5 job, build a business from scratch, invest over $100,000 into my own personal growth, and fly to Bangkok to bleed in a Muay Thai gym only to get kicked in the liver by a guy named Korn. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Cold approach isn't just about women. It's about becoming a man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't hide, who doesn't need to pretend he's okay because he actually is. This is the most aggressive form of self-development on the planet. It will strip you, expose you, break your illusions into jagged little pieces. And most men, they'll never touch it. They'll watch from the sidelines, rationalize, settle, lie to themselves until they can't hear the truth anymore. So if you're in the trenches right now, question everything. If your last approach felt like your soul got hit by a fridge full of walruses, happy about that line. If you're one dead-eye look away from moving to the mountain to grow a shame beard and start writing sad poetry, just know this path gives back. Not instantly, not easily, but if you stick with it long enough, you don't just get women, you get yourself. And that's the fucking prize. To glory we go. So yeah, that was a community post that I put together to commemorate 5 years in daytime approach. And what I want to do really on this stream is just explain a few realizations that I've had by doing thousands of approaches, working with over 200 guys, getting rejected more than anybody else that I know, having many a dark night of the soul. And yeah, let's just crack into it. So one of the biggest realizations, I'm reading off a script here, by the way, because I've got a lot of things that I want to talk about. So just to make sure that I don't go off track. One of the biggest things that I've learned through doing daytime cold approach for the past 5 years is the amount of bullshit that's been sold to men online. So when I first got started with daytime approach, there was this bullshit internet marketing rhetoric which would go out there, which was you can have any woman. Yeah, 5 easy tricks to get any woman into bed. Send her this text to get her obsessed, right? But what I've found to be true since doing daytime approach is you can't have every woman. Yeah, you can get your women. And that is really the essence of what I teach. So the system that I created, it's called AntiGame, okay? AntiGame Artistry. And what I found when I first started cold approach was on one side of the fence, you had these weird, low-value pickup artists who were teaching manipulation disguised as game. Yeah, it's all about lines and tricks and routines, which took you further away from your most authentic self. And then you had these red pill manospheric morons who were preaching, oh, it's all about looks, money, status. Ignore women till you're 35 years old. Build it and they will come. Oh, you just need to be a high value man. Build a lifestyle. Get rich. Get ripped. And then beautiful women are magically going to want to jump into bed with you. And it seemed to me that everyone was preaching this, oh, you can have any woman, you can get any woman into bed, you just need to become more valuable, you just need to learn more lines and more tricks. And really, the system that I created, AntiGame Artistry, it was this 2 middle finger salute to all of this bullshit. So you can't have every woman, you can get your women, okay? So I don't believe in the one, I believe in soulmates. I believe that there are women who've been put on this earth specifically for us, and part of our masculine role is to find our women, okay? So rather than trying to be everything to everybody, you're simply trying to be the right somebody for the right somebodies. So your attraction strategy is based around repulsion rather than attraction, okay? So if you think of a brand like Apple, for example, Apple isn't trying to please everybody. Instead, Apple releases products to the market which polarize. Yeah, some people love Apple, some people hate Apple. So their brand is built around division. Yeah, the loyalty that they create is based around division. So a mistake that a lot of guys make is they're trying to be universally attractive, and they're going out to cold approach to meet women, and they're trying to be liked. Yeah, they're trying to get approval and validation. I understand this because that's what it was for me at the start. Like before I got started with daytime approach, I was just an insecure little kid. Yeah, I wanted approval. I wanted validation from the feminine. I just wanted to be wanted. I had this wounded child inside of me that sought salvation in the feminine. So when I started daytime approach, it wasn't even for the women. It wasn't even for the sex. It wasn't even to get my ego boosted. I just wanted to feel wanted. I wanted my presence to feel as though I actually meant something to somebody. But I was kind of coming about it the wrong way. So it's like in the process of daytime approach, you almost, and this is me talking to myself, like my process was I started off looking for validation. And after that, it was more about resonance, right? So rather than trying to find women who liked me, I was looking for women who I actually resonated with, right? And the way that I teach everything now, the system that I created, it's not about adding anything new. You know, it's not about adding fake confidence. It's not about adding more status. It's not about adding more lines. It's the removal of the unnecessary. Because something that I've learned through Daytime Approach is everything that we need is already inside of us. And really, this is not a process of learning anything new. It's actually a process of unlearning. Okay, it's about stripping back everything that isn't you. It's about stripping back all of these layers of social conditioning so you can connect with your most authentic self. And it's your most authentic self which will naturally attract your women and it will repel the rest. In the same way that when Michelangelo was asked how he created the statue of David, he simply said, I just removed everything that wasn't David. And that's the system that I created. It's a system that I teach to my guys. It's a system that I created for myself to go from a porn addict, broke as a joke loser, working at the National Railway Museum in York, to, you know, somewhat turning my life around. It was through this system. It was through AntiGame Artistry. It was understanding that everything that I need is already within me. So rather than adding more, it's about removing. And a really practical way that you can actually start with this particular system that I created is when you do your first 100 daytime approaches, you're not doing these approaches to start to get dates, phone numbers, happy endings. You're doing these approaches to invest into the identity of yourself that you've always wanted to become but been too scared to try. Okay, so a realization that I've found is within all of us, there is this conflict of identity. There's a person who we've always been and the person who we want to be. Okay, this is where the word doubt comes from. It's dubitare, which comes from the word duo. Okay, so the Latin origin of the word doubt, it comes from being caught in two minds. So when you see a woman who you want to talk to, you want to give her a compliment, you're caught between two minds. You're caught between the version of yourself who craves comfort, who craves warmth and security, and the higher version of you who just wants to go over there, whisk her away, give her a hard-hitting compliment, declare your desire in a non-needy way. So when you see this woman who you want to talk to, it holds a mirror up to who you are. Yeah, it holds a mirror up to who you are right now, and it also shines a path forward for who you can be. And that's why belief follows action. Because every time you override that resistance and you approach that woman and you give her a hard-hitting compliment like, you look incredible, you look so good, you look fucking amazing, you're not doing it for the woman, you're doing it for freedom, right? You're doing it to free yourself from bullshit. So once you've done 10 approaches, you'll start to feel more liberated. By 50 approaches, you'll notice something starts to shift. And then I would say between 80 and 100 of these type of approaches, where it's literally just you going over and not holding back, right? None of these like tepid, lukewarm compliments like, oh, hi, I just saw you and you look kind of nice. Oh, you look cute. Oh, I just wanted to say, oh, what I noticed about you. Again, it's removing all of the unnecessary. So just walking over to a woman, big set of balls, you look fucking amazing. You look so good. You look incredible. You can see the Infield videos on my channel. There's a video that I've got which is called Picking Up a Baddie in London. You can see me do this style of approach in real time. Also, the main video on my channel, it's like I approached 33 girls in London to overcome my fear of rejection. That's like my poster boy anti-game artistry video. I prove in real time in that video that you don't need game, you need anti-game, right? It's not about lines and routines and push-pull vibe stack. Oh, has she hooked yet? All of this old school game theory was based around fear, right? It was based around, if I do the wrong thing, then I might lose. So instead, I need to wear a mask. I need to put on a performance. I need to align myself with the idea of what I think she wants me to be, rather than the ruthless, audacious, authentic version of me. Yeah, it's the same way when I make these live streams. When I'm making these streams, I'm not speaking to everybody. I'm hoping that a big portion of people absolutely hate me, don't resonate with my message, because then I know I'm on the right path. Okay, if everybody likes you, you're not living, you're not polarizing, you're not dividing the masses. Okay, so when I'm making these streams, I'm speaking to my people. Yeah, I don't make these streams and make these stupid claims that, oh, you know, work with me and your whole dating life will be changed in a day. No, it's kind of like bullshit internet marketing, which was like, I will make you a millionaire in 7 days or less, or you don't pay me any money. Yeah, it's just like, it's just so ludicrous that it's obviously bullshit. So I don't make these claims that, oh, you're going to be, you know, through my system, you're going to be in bed with 10 Victoria's Secret models by the end of our first day of coaching. It's like, really, the promise that I give to my guys is not that you're going to be a millionaire in 7 days. It's, I will help you craft yourself into the version of yourself who is never short of romantic options, right? So rather than just making you rich for a day, I will help you become rich for life, because that's what the skill of daytime cold approach, that's what it will give you. It will give you a knowingness. It will give you abundance. Abundance is not always having, it's knowing that you can have. So once you've done those first 100 direct approaches in the way that I teach by following this system, then you'll start to collect data, you'll start to collect evidence. And really what you're doing is, you're not doing these approaches at the start for the women, you're doing them for abundance, you're doing them for the skill, you're doing them to know that you can have. Yeah, and then that's how you get results in 2025 and beyond from daytime approach. It's by becoming the version of yourself who knows he can have. Yeah, so when I work with my guys in the field, I just take them through this proven system, right? I'm there in the field with them. I'm listening to their conversations in real time so they can just skip all the guesswork, remove all the trial and error. Because I've done thousands of these approaches, I've studied thousands of them, I've helped guys go from absolute no idea what they're doing, like, to getting dates on demand with wife-worthy women. I've helped guys lose their virginities. I've worked with guys in their 50s, guys who come out of divorces, guys who exited long-term relationships and had no idea how to navigate the modern dating world. I've worked with guys who spent 3 decades not knowing how to talk to women, flooded with self-limiting beliefs, help them get 25-year-old girlfriends and they're like in their 50s. So I understand what works, I understand what doesn't. But I think if there's one thing that you take away from this stream, understand that my overarching philosophy in regards to daytime approach, it's about the removal. Okay, it's about the removal of the unnecessary, because you've already got it all inside of you. It's like Picasso said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, a lifetime to paint like a child. Yeah, it's unlearning. It's all of the bullshit that you've been fed. I just had an Entourage group coaching call. So the Entourage is like my private community. Okay, so when guys work with me, they get in-person, one-on-one coaching with me, and they also get access to my private community, the Entourage. The Entourage is like a support system of like-minded guys. So if you don't have quality wingmen in your life right now, if you are lacking support and accountability and ruthless, no bullshit feedback, that's what the Entourage does. So our guys get coaching with me, and then they get access to this community. And I was speaking on our weekly coaching call, and I explained to the guys that a lot of the stuff that we're doing with daytime approach, we're overriding a system which set us up to fail at the start. So I don't know if you ever remember, like when you were in school, like you're almost shamed for doing things wrong. Okay, I was terrible at school. I used to break out into these sweating fits whenever I got put on the spot to answer questions. And I never had the bravery to put my hand up because I was scared that I was going to get laughed at. Maybe I can't remember. I probably had a situation in school once where I put my hand up, I got the answer wrong, or I broke out into a sweating fit and then everyone started looking at me. So, you know, it became this traumatic thing to be wrong. So something that I've learned is guys are not struggling. Guys are not average because they're lazy. They're just scared of getting it wrong. Yeah, so that's why I think that fear is so fierce. When you see a woman who you want to talk to, you're just flooded with all this doubt. Like, what if I get it wrong? What if I mess it up? What if I get a reputation for myself? What if people laugh at me? What if people label me as this creepy pickup dude? Because there's probably a scared little child inside of you who's kicking and screaming, right? And that's what Freud said. Freud said that the adult is developed to protect the child. So the adult who we become is designed to protect the child who we once were. And that's why daytime approach holds a mirror, right? It holds a mirror. And this was another point that I made. Daytime cold approach, it doesn't solve your problems, it dissolves them. So when you're out there in the field, there's nowhere to hide, okay? There's nowhere to hide anymore. All of your self-limiting beliefs, all of the excuses that you've been telling yourself, all of your traumas, all of your childhood wounds and scars, like it all comes to the surface. So I don't think it's a way of solving your problems, but I think it's a way of dissolving them. Because when you understand that belief follows action, when you understand that when you're going out there to approach, you're investing into the future version of yourself, then what that does is like, it allows you to be a parent to yourself. It's like, okay, I've got this. It's not us being rejected right now. Like, we're not the version of ourselves who's stepping into the approach. Like, the version of ourselves is going to be metaphorically crucified through the fires of adversity. 2 years from now, the approaches that we take, they're going to compound, and we're going to feel incredible. So in terms of the self-limiting beliefs that you've got, like, oh, what if I get a reputation? What if these women laugh at me? What if they think I'm creepy? The system that I teach, the system that I created, all I need you to focus on is the open. Right? The open is literally the first words that come out your mouth. Because for a lot of guys, they're not scared of being rejected necessarily, or they're not even scared of cold approaching. They're scared of being seen to do it, right? The spotlight effect. Oh, what if people see? Or what if this is creepy? What if I don't get approval and validation? All this stuff, I get that. So if you can almost just brainwash yourself into believing that when you go out today, all you need to do is just focus on the open, just focus on the compliment. Because if you understand the philosophy that I've just shared, the right women, they don't need you to be this personification of perfection, right? They don't need you to put on a performance. They don't need you to be anything other than you are in the moment, because the energy that you've got is, this is me, take it or leave it. We've got a guy in the entourage, one of the new guys who's joined, and before he joined, he had this self-limiting belief that he goes to jiu-jitsu, yeah, and he was scared of approaching women after he'd finished his jiu-jitsu class because he's sweaty, he stinks, he's not in state right now. And you know, we had a conversation in one of the hotel lobbies in London, and I said to him, dude, this is anti-game. Yeah, this is just showing up as you are, rather than as you think the world needs you to be. And he did that. He approached the girl in his sweaty jiu-jitsu gym attire. He ended up going on a date with her, right? And it's like, because there was no pretense, because there's no mask, because there's no performance. I think for me, like, a lot of guys have just got pissed off and they feel confused, they feel conflicted. It's like, oh, I need to ignore women, oh, then I need to learn these lines. No, like, of course, there needs to be an element of personal renaissance here, okay? And this is why feedback is so important, because you might think that you're better than you actually are right now. That's what I thought when I first started Daytime Approach. I thought approaching women would be easy because I was a magician, but really what I had was situational confidence. If you took away my deck of cards, I was a nobody. I was just a loser. I just wanted the approval and the validation. So through Daytime Approach, I didn't learn situational confidence. I learned core, true confidence. I learned, throw me in hell, I'll find a way to enjoy it. I learned, no matter what, I can handle it. And like I said in the script, Cold Approach, it changed my entire life. It allowed me to quit my 9-to-5. It allowed me to come to Bangkok and start training Muay Thai. It allowed me to meet a wife-worthy woman who I see a future with. It allowed me to become the version of myself that I'd always wanted to become. Yeah, it gave me that permission. And you know, that's a big thing that guys lack at the start. It's having that permission, right? Having the permission to do what you want, yeah? And that's why I do view Daytime Approach as freedom from bullshit. Yeah, I'm not a dating coach, I'm not a day gamer, I'm not a pickup artist. I view myself as a freedom from bullshit practitioner. And my clients become successful through osmosis, yeah? Because you probably heard you become the 5 people, the average, that you spend the most time with. Well, that's bullshit. You become the average of the 5 people who you compare yourself to, right? So when guys join the entourage, say a guy joins who's in his 50s and he meets other guys inside the entourage who are in their 50s and they're dating 25-year-olds, or they've got a rotation of statuesque blonde bombshells, it's like, whoa, if he can do it and he started off in the exact same position as I did, then I can do it as well, because evidence has got the loudest voice. So if you're absolutely shitting it right now, I was shitting it at the start as well. And I had a decade of social experience behind me. But you just focus on the open, right? Just focus on walking over to women who you actually find attractive, and all you need to focus on is viewing the rep as a reward. You look incredible, you look so good, you look fucking amazing, and I want to take you out on a date. And I would advise you as well, just to watch the videos on this channel. Like, you can go back, you can watch the oldest videos when I first started, and also the most recent videos as well. I would say the last 3 or 4 videos that I've uploaded, they really give you the true essence of anti-game artistry, which is no fluff, no bullshit, walking over, big set of balls, and delivering your truth in a non-needy way. I spoke earlier about the compounding effects, right? Because a realization that I've had through daytime approach, and we spoke about this on the Entourage group coaching call as well, is you're only ever one approach away from your entire life changing. So I've had it with guys in the Entourage, guys who I've worked with one-on-one, where they've met their fiancés, where they've lost their virginity, where they've met a woman, like a wife-worthy woman. I remember this one guy that I worked with many, many years ago, a guy called Jason. He'd just come out of a long-term 10-year relationship. He had 2 children, and he came to me completely at rock bottom. He met his other half down the pub 10 years ago. Fast forward to when I worked with him, the dating landscape had changed so much. So I worked with him in person in London, took him through the system, and then a couple months later, he approached a woman outside of Russell Square Gardens in London, and they got into a relationship. So she's helping him with his children. He's got a business, so she's providing that feminine figure in his life. So she's like a complement to his already busy lifestyle. But the reason why I share this is he created this experience out of nothing, right? He was only ever one approach away from everything changing. So once you've learned the skill of daytime approach, and you've learned it with precision, you've learned it with confidence, you learn it from someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing in the modern game, you're only one approach away. And that mindset always kept me steady. It keeps my clients steady as well, because if I was going through a rough patch, or maybe I'd been out and I'd done so many approaches and every number had flaked, or maybe I had a date that didn't go my way, or maybe I met a woman and I was too needy, I was too thirsty, I tried too hard, and then I lost her. The mindset that always kept me steady was, we're only ever one approach away from everything changing, in the same way that you're only ever one connection away from your entire life changing, because change can happen fast, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. Change happens fast. It's the time it takes us to get to the change, because power, for me, is minimizing the time between thought and action, right? Power is minimizing the time between thought and action. You could spend the next 4 years of your life thinking about approaching, and when you eventually pluck up the courage to do that first approach, it's happened fast. It's taken you 4 years to get there unnecessarily, but change happens fast, in the same way that if you're in a car accident, your life is never the same again. I remember the first time that I jumped out of a plane, I was 18 years old. I did my first solo skydive. There was so much apprehension and resistance towards doing that. I remember being sat on the edge of the plane, and this Scottish bloke who trained me just said jump, and I did it. And I remember gliding through, once the parachute had deployed, I remember looking at the ground beneath me and thinking, shit, I can actually do things. I can actually dive bomb into discomfort, literally. I can fall towards my fears. I can actually do things which terrify me. So change can happen fast, but it's the time it takes for us to get to the moment of change that really fucks us over. So I think this is so important, because even though you're only ever one approach away, it's the compounding of the actions that you take. So remember at the start of this stream, I said to you that every approach, it's an investment into your future identity. So the approaches that you do today, you might not see the payoff for another 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now. And you might do your first approach today, and then 12 months from today, you might meet your future wife. It wasn't that approach, it was all of the actions that you took in the lead up to that. Okay, so it's a compounding. And this is one of the best pieces of feedback that I've got from the way that I approach cold approach coaching, is the intensity of the sessions. So I worked with a 21-year-old in London, whenever it was, a couple of months back. We'll call him Travis. And Travis absolutely smashed it. Before he even did his in-person coaching with me, he joined the Entourage, he got around the guys, he went the full way with a Brazilian girl that he approached outside of Fulham Broadway train station. We call this the Entourage effect. So when guys join the Entourage, something just clicks. They become new versions of themselves, because they get almost brainwashed into action, because the guys in the group, they're absolutely smashing it, they're hitting it. You just get, it's basically impossible for you not to succeed with the Entourage. And I remember training him in person in London. We met with some other Entourage guys. We were just hitting it. It was just a beautiful immersion. I remember him turning to me. We were somewhere in central London, and he just said, I fucking love the intensity of these sessions, like the intensity of it, because you know, when I'm looking to work with guys, I'm looking for a specific type of individual, right? I'm looking for guys who want to be held accountable, who want to be held to a higher standard, who understand it's not going to be easy, right? It's not a magic bullet. It's not a quick fix. This is a complete overhaul of your current character, right? That's how you get results with daytime approach. It's not by learning daytime approach. It's by learning how to become the version of yourself who cold approach can work for. And that means liberation through action. That means being held to a higher standard. That means being given no bullshit feedback on who you are rather than who you think you are. And that's why it holds a mirror up to the person who you actually are. So yeah, just the intensity of these sessions that we do in London is awesome, because I know I find the guys who I work with, they appreciate the intensity, they appreciate the no bullshit coaching, being told what they need to know rather than what they want to hear. I'm not here to be people's friends. I'm here for my clients to become successful, because my reputation is attached to your success. So I will go above and beyond to make sure my clients are successful. But at the end of the day, a personal trainer can't lift the weight for you. You need to be prepared to go all in with this, because it's I would say cold approach, it's the most difficult skill you're ever going to learn. Even harder when you're trying to do it on your own. I didn't do it on my own. I got coached 6 months after I started, because I understood I didn't know what I didn't know. I started uploading videos onto YouTube. I was getting given feedback by my coach and also the internet as well. I was given loads of different feedback. Like, guys were saying, oh, you're ugly, you're a 4 out of 10 at best, you look physically disadvantaged, why are you approaching girls, you're wasting your time, you're a loser. So that feedback, it was beneficial, because it took me away from my ego, it took me off my pedestal, and made me recognize I'm a lot shitter at this than I actually am. So I think that brutal no bullshit feedback is useful. What else have I got here? One approach away said that. Yeah, so I mentioned this in, by the way, if you're enjoying this stream at the moment, drop it a like. I'm doing my best to go deep and also esoteric, because I think there's just like a lot of surface level bullshit advice out there, like, oh, say this, do that. But really, this is a game about identity. Yeah, it's not about what you say. It's not about how you say it. It's who you are when you say it. And that's what I'm doing when I'm working my guys in real time. Yeah, I'm helping them become not even new people, but I'm helping them strip back all of the bullshit so they can become that version of them. But I described it as the most aggressive form of self-development, you know, and I really do view it as that. Like, cold approach is the most aggressive form of self-development. Like, yeah, look, I train here in Bangkok. I go to the Muay Thai gym. What else have I done? I was a magician for a decade. I've jumped out of airplanes. And yeah, you can do gratitude journaling. You can do red light therapy. You can sing Kumbaya, lotus flower position on a kitchen floor, but I don't think anything will test a man like daytime approach. And, you know, the guys that I work with, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, usually making about 6 figures. They're doing well in their business. And through daytime approach, their business improves as well. Like, they make more money because they become more audacious. They become more of a risk taker. They learn how to act on impulse. They learn how to go after what they want rather than settling for what they think they can get. So it's the most aggressive form of self-development. And I link it to the jiu-jitsu of social mastery, yeah? And that's why when you are learning this skill on your own, you can do it. It just takes a long time. It's kind of like trying to teach yourself jiu-jitsu by watching YouTube videos. Having the feedback, having the accountability, having somebody pinpoint your blind spots is the fastest way to make progress. But the reason why I sort of describe it or compare it to jiu-jitsu is because nobody rocks up on the first day of jiu-jitsu expecting to become a black belt immediately. So I find that guys have got a lot of ego attached to cold approach. I think a lot of guys think they should just know what to do. But the crazy part is nobody ever taught you, or certainly nobody ever taught me, how to be good with women, right? My dad never sat down with me on a rainy Thursday and said, Kristian, this is how you create attraction. This is how you become the version of yourself who this woman actually wants to date. Let me teach you about love. Let me teach you about relationships. Like, he was too busy drinking, right? So like, you might be in a similar position to me right now, and it's not really your fault. I had a guy the other day comment on one of my videos. He was like, oh, this is so sad that guys need advice on how to talk to women. This should just be second nature, like breathing. I think what a ludicrous low empathy comment is that. It's like every guy should just know how to fight. No, it's a skill. It takes time. And if you've not been given a good hand from birth, maybe like me, you grew up in a single mother household, maybe you were never taught how to actually speak to women. I didn't have siblings either, so I was just this only child, this like no social skills, absolute loser. I used to play Call of Duty with my auntie because I didn't have any friends. So it's like, you know, the way you start isn't the way that you finish though. We were speaking about this on the Entourage call. I was never that kid in school who had friends. Social skills never came easy. I used to walk around the playground and then I would go into the toilet and hide there during like the break time because I didn't want to be seen being on my own, right? So I've crafted my character purely through determination, purely through grit, purely because I refuse to quit, right? So hopefully you can take an individual like me, you can watch the oldest videos on this channel, and even if you're in your 50s right now, you can recognize that change can happen fast. It's never too late for you to actually make a change. But if you've never been given the handbook, then it's okay, right? It's okay if you don't know what to do. It's okay if you feel a bit scared. It's okay if you see a woman who you want to talk to and you think too many steps ahead, you experience failure in advance, you reject yourself on her behalf. Like I've been there, right? I see it in my clients. I see it when they're scared and they're feeling apprehensive and they're feeding themselves all this bullshit. And I say to my guys, the best thing that you can ever say to me is, Kristian, I don't want to do this approach because I'm scared, right? It's not because she looks busy. It's not because she looks bitchy. It's not because you think she might have a boyfriend. It's because you're scared right now, and that's okay, right? It's okay to feel that fear. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to have the doubt and the apprehension and the anxiety. It's okay, right? It's okay. But when you take the action and you show yourself that, oh, I can do the thing, even if at the start it's just getting women to stop or getting a smile or just taking the action and realizing that nothing bad has happened, then it starts to compound. You start to stack the evidence, and with enough time and iteration and feedback, you become a completely different person. Yeah, so that's why I think 100 approaches, especially when you're doing this on your own, is a useful benchmark, okay? Because up until that point, you really don't know what you don't know. And I would say that probably one of the most sinister reasons why guys don't get the results they want from daytime approach is because they're not doing enough quality volume, right? I've had many an application call with guys. I'm like, right, you know, how many approaches are you doing on average a week? And the guy will say something like 25. And it's like, okay, out of those approaches, how many of those conversations are lasting between 5 and 8 minutes? How many of those conversations have you actually recorded? Like, how many of those conversations are the girls just giving you a funny look and walking away? Because that's not an approach. Just walking over to a woman, not getting her attention, giving her some half-assed compliment, like, oh, excuse me, you look nice, and then she just walks off. Like, that's not an approach, right? That's not gonna do shit. So it's like, guys are doing way less volume than they actually think. So it's like, when we actually break it down, a guy might be doing maybe 5 decent approaches per week, and even those approaches are probably shit because he's not getting feedback. He's not recording the audio of his conversations. Even if he is recording the audio of his conversations, he might not know what to listen for, because a lot of guys are carrying sexual shame and they don't even realize it. You know, that was me. I was carrying sexual shame. You know, I was living my life like a closet heterosexual. I was scared of being a man. I was scared of having desires. I used to see women as these delicate little creatures that I had to tiptoe around. And a lot of guys are like this, right? A lot of guys that I work with, you might be working a corporate job. You might be having your masculinity diluted in these estrogenic environments where you have to watch what you say, you have to bite your tongue. And it's no wonder when you go out there and try and approach and you try and be this unapologetic, authentic version of you that you're struggling. So it's like, I think having empathy for yourself, but also recognizing that there might be parts of your personality that you're not even aware of. Like the sexual shame is a big one, right? You might be talking to women, you might think it's wrong in some way to give women these compliments. You might think it's wrong to be a man and have desire and find women attractive. You might have grown up in an environment or a culture where you were shamed for being a man. Yeah. So again, this is what I'm really helping guys with. And hopefully you can see by now, it's not the lines, it's not the tricks, it's not the techniques. It's not about adding all of these external trappings of success, the watches, the cars, the nice haircut. Like, all those things are cool. All those things can help to I think, like, looking good is an open. It might buy you attention, but it doesn't sell the product, right? What sells a product is who you are rather than what you have. And I think that's what a big part of my process so far has been. it's really been about rewiring my internal system, like becoming the version of myself that I'm actually happy to be. And now when I'm going out there and I approach purely for the demonstration purposes, it's not about validation anymore. I went from validation to looking for resonance. Like, do I actually resonate with these women? That's what the way that I teach, by just focusing on the open, by just focusing on delivering your most authentic self, you will polarize. You will find women. You're filtering for your women. Okay, so you're looking for your fuck yeses. And I think that's where a lot of guys fall short, especially with old school advice. Is like old school advice would try and teach you to game these maybe girls, right? Oh, just keep talking, bro. You just need to game her more. Oh, say this thing and then she'll like you. No, for me, she's either a fuck yes. If she's not a fuck yes, she's a fuck no, right? If you're a busy guy leading a busy lifestyle, you don't have time to be pissing away on maybe girls who are not even interested, girls who might just be entertaining your attention but have got no desire whatsoever to actually see you again. So the way that I teach, it keeps things efficient, right? You are filtering from the start. You're not filtering to get validation, you're filtering for your fuck yeses. So as soon as you go over to that woman, is she lighting up? Is she giggling? Is she playing with her hair? Does she lean into you? When you hold your hand out to introduce yourself, is she holding on to it, right? Are you able to bring her in a little bit? Is there this like just seductive stillness that you're able to create? Because this is the whole point of this. We're not trying to game every woman, okay? We're trying to find our women. That's what this is about. And you achieve that by focusing on the open, focusing on ruthless, radical authenticity. You focus on the removal rather than the addition. Okay, you don't need any more YouTube videos. You don't need another watch. You don't need another car. What you need is to give yourself the permission to say to the world, this is me, take it or leave it. Understand, the right women, they're your fuck yeses, and that's who you're going out there for. So there wasn't really a structure to this stream, but hopefully that's been useful. Daytime approach has completely changed my life. It really has. If daytime approach was a person, I would marry it. I remember when I first started, I was listening to all the podcasts, I was watching the videos, I was traveling to my 9 to 5, I was taking the bus, I was listening to loads of different podcasts, I was reading like self-help books, self-improvement books. I just had this insatiable appetite. I had this obsession with progression. I knew that I could really sink my teeth into something like this. I just had delusional optimism that I could become the version of myself that's speaking to you today. So just understand that, you know, you're going out there today, you might not be the version of yourself right now, and that's okay. I wasn't the version of myself when I first started. I was a low-life loser, I was broke as a joke, I was living in a grotty apartment which was infected by fucking cockroaches. I didn't know a lot of things, all right? So if you're struggling, if you feel as though you want to give up, if you've been going out there, you feel as though you're banging your head against a brick wall, I hope that these videos are useful, because I've been in that position. Just listen to this stream again, listen to the post that I read out at the start. It is a difficult road, and a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. You know, like all these pithy quotes, the way you start is not the way you finish. Like it all starts to make sense when you're actually putting yourself out there. But yeah, it's the most aggressive form of self-development. The lives that I've changed, the places that I've gone, the experiences that I've had, I wouldn't be the person who I am today without daytime approach. And when I'm long gone, when I'm dead, when I'm passed on to the next life, I really hope that this content continues to live on, because if I can do it, anyone can fucking do it. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, drop it a like, and you can watch more of these streams. I've got loads of content, and yeah, hopefully it's somewhat useful to you. And yeah, I love you all very much, and I hope you have a cracking Sunday or whenever you listen to this, and I'll speak with you again soon. All right, bye.